This is me. This is my beloved wife, Sylvia. This is Sylvia's idea of sailing. This is my dream of sailing and my hope of circumnavigating the globe as a retirement project in 2029. This is Sylvia's reaction to that idea.
What? He's got a plan.
I am on a 6-year quest to convince Sylvia that a circumnavigation is a wonderful adventure, but the clock is ticking, so join me as I search for the perfect yacht that Sylvia will love, and get all your ladies to subscribe and cheer Sylvia on in the comments. Welcome back to Naval Gazing at Camp David. This week we are heading to the iconic French multi-hull town of La Rochelle and the home of this week's guest yacht, the Fountaine Pajot Tanna 47. Today we are going to 1. Review its specifications, pricing, and layout against 3 similar new vessels. 2. Do a full tour asking what would Sylvia say. 3. Gaze at an innovation and or an adjustment that might make life aboard just a little easier. 4. Have a look at the used market for 3 to 5-year-old pre-owned comparables. And 5. Finally give it a Dave score and compare the results with previously reviewed yachts. All this fun will be sandwiched between a wine and a work of art from the same region as the guest yacht, in an effort to capture the culture and people who give birth to these wonderful vessels. Waves, wine, art, and ideas. What a great way to spend 30 minutes, so let's get going. From high above Vancouver, we head east across the continent and the Atlantic to the western shores of France and the vineyards from last week's tour. From here, we fly south down the coast to La Rochelle and the home of this week's guest yacht, Fountaine Pajot Tanna 47. Finally, we head inland to this week's pairing at the vineyards of Chateau de Sancerre and their Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc. The Chateau de Sancerre winery is located in the Loire Valley of France and has a rich history that dates back to the 10th century. Originally built as a medieval fortress, the chateau was later converted into a winery by monks of Saint Satur in the 12th century. The vines were planted by the monks were among the first in the region, which has since become famous for its crisp and mineral-driven Sauvignon Blancs. Over the centuries, the Chateau de Sancerre winery changed hands many times, passing through the ownership of various noble families and eventually being sold to private investors in the 19th century. In the 1930s, the vineyards were almost entirely destroyed by disease, a pest that had devastating effects on the European vineyards. However, the chateau's winemakers were determined to rebuild and replant, and they succeeded in restoring the vineyards to their former glory. Today, the Chateau de Sancerre continues to produce world-class wines that are known for their vibrant acidity, crisp minerality, and elegant fruit flavors. The winery is committed to sustainable farming practices and uses modern techniques to ensure the highest quality grapes. With a history spanning over 1,000 years, the Chateau de Sancerre winery remains one of the most iconic and respected wineries in France. The Chateau de Sancerre Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc is made using traditional French winemaking methods. The grapes are harvested by hand when they have reached optimal ripeness, and after being carefully selected, they are gently pressed to extract the juice. The juice is then fermented in temperature-controlled stainless steel tanks to preserve its fresh and fruity flavors. The wine is left on its lees for a few weeks to add complexity and depth to the final product. Finally, the wine is bottled with mineral filtration to retain its natural character. Finally, the wine is bottled with minimal filtration to retain its natural character. Chateau de Sancerre Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc is crisp and refreshing, with aromas of citrus, green apple, and white flowers. On the palate, flavors of grapefruit and passion fruit are complemented by a mineral finish. This wine has won numerous awards, including gold medal at the International Wine Challenge and a 90-point rating from Wine Spectator.
Oh, that's lovely. You're going to enjoy that. Let's go have a look at that boat.
Looking at this boat, it really does cut a nice profile. That reversed bow, the slim lines, the alternate colored cabin top, the integrated solar. It really looks good. The other thing too, of course, is they have that wonderful option of the hydraulic bimini lift and swim platform on the back. They also have that tremendous mid-helm, which I'm quite fond of, and they do a little extra thing to that. They separate the winch area from the helm area a lot, and yet leave both in easy reach of each other. They also put a bit of a guardrail between you and the water for added safety. I really think they've sort of nailed it here as far as this yacht design goes. Additionally, look at the canopy top there at that lovely elevated skyline. You know how I love those. I think they've done a wonderful job of this whole vessel. Okay, hopping into the statistics, let's look at the new comparables. We are today looking at the Tanna 47, Portofino 47, yet to be built, the Neil 47, and the Bally 46. Just looking quickly, you can see the profiles are quite similar, although, you know, the Neil, Portofino, and Tanna all cut obviously a less guppy-ish line than the Bally 46. The upwind sail area on these, you've got the Tanna 47 in the lead at 129 square meters. Sorry, you've got the Portofino 47 in the lead at 141 square meters. Then the Tanna at 129. Then the Bally at 120. And finally the Neil at 90. Going on to the cabin tops now. You will note right away that the Tanna 47 has that lovely fly lounge area. The Portofino 47, as designed, also has a nice fly lounge, although they have an option of fly lounge or sport bridge, which excludes the fly lounge. Actually, it's not, it's a fly bridge, including lounge. And then they've got the sport helm, which eliminates the fly bridge and the fly helm to bring down the boom height. The Neil 47 has a fly area for sunning, and the Bally 46, of course, has a fly lounge. Looking at the Tanna 47 here into their saloon, it really has a nicely laid out saloon. They've done a variation on the 45 and, of course, the 51 with that sort of tilted edge return on the settee. Nice table area. You can do without the table, and actually Fountaine Pajot does a wonderful job of removing the table in the inner saloon, creating a wider sense of space. You don't need multiple tables, especially if you're cruising in warm areas. You'll be doing most of your eating outside, so why not just reserve the saloon for that more formal, enjoyable, relaxing area? The galley, you know, it is a semi-U. There's a very little bit of a lip there that you can lock yourself into. But overall, a lot of counter space. It's really well done. The cockpit itself is wide and inviting, lots of seating area. You even have that lovely aft settee and a beautiful built-in barbecue. Really executed very, very nicely. Looking to the Portofino, again, a fantastic execution using the space very, very nicely, also including a lovely island that integrates the mast step, and then a relatively huge aft cockpit. This really is quite something. And then, indeed, they've got that access through to the front cockpit. So, you know, this Portofino 47 is a massive amount of boat for the money, especially when you consider that it's built out of aluminum. When we go over to the Neil 47, a little deceptive in that it is, you've got your main cabin up on the main floor. But again, regardless, you have that sense of the full breadth of the beam on this in certain parts, and it feels fantastic. That aft cockpit, again, nice and roomy and hugely beamy, so it really gives you a unique feel when you're on board. The Bally 4.6 has a very unique layout with that garage door that opens the full back wall, and then the windows that slide forward. As well, it has the access to the forward cockpit, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure why more manufacturers aren't incorporating that. As we go down into the berths, You can see the Tanna 47 has that beautiful full owner's port hull and a forward shower area that is, you know, they've done the shower instead of side to side, fore to aft, and it's long and it's a beautiful glass window and it really utilizes space and gives you a fantastic shower area. The rest of the hull, fairly standard. You've got good walk-around space around your master berth. Then over in the other side, you've got a VIP thwart ship in the bow with access to good storage in the forepeak. And then you've got your traditional fore-aft berth with decent walk-around space. The Portofino 47, again, highly unique, giving you exceptional space in the owner's port hull. And a thwartship berth, massive closets, beautiful settee, full sugar scoop access out the back of the aft head, and highly unique. I mean, I'm dying to see if this yacht delivers on everything it promises. Over to the Neil 47, you've got, you know, berths in both amas. Certainly they're going to be smaller. And overall, you've got great storage. You've got that head in the bow that's really nicely done. You know, because it's a smaller hull on all three hulls, this is some limited space. But if you're looking for that performance without the dagger boards, it can offer it. The Bally 4.6 is you know, a pure cruising machine. You've got the owner's hull there in a traditional layout with an aft berth, good walk-around space, little settee, and a lovely forward bathroom area. So all in all, you know, the Tanna 47 does very, very nicely at this. Getting into the numbers now, as we look across the top line, the Neil 47 stands out as the most economical at $595 base in euro. Then the Bally at a very close second at $608. You take a bit of a jump now to the Tanna 47 at $769. And the Portofino's just a wee bit up at $7,838. Not as much higher than the Tanna as I would expect, given space and materials. As we go now down to the overall length, you're looking at the 47 as the longest at 51 foot, followed by the Neil at 47 foot, then the Bally at 46.95, and the Tanna at 45.7. The beam, we're looking at the Tanna is the widest actually at the beam, we're looking at the Portofino is the widest at 27 feet. Actually, it's tied with the Neil at 27 feet, but the Neil is a trimaran. Next up is going to be the Fountaine Pajot at 25.3, and very closely thereafter, we're looking at the Bally 4.6 at 25.13. Draft-wise, the Tanna is the best at a mere 3.9 feet. After that, we're looking at the Bally at 4.17, then the Portofino at 4.3, and the Neil at 5.2 feet. Heading down to tankage, the Tanna takes the lead at 940 liters and 700 liters fuel and water respectively. Next, you would see the Bally at 800 and 800 fuel and water. Then is the Portofino at 400 and 550, and then the Neil at 303 and 600. Getting into the more technical details, looking at the hull, I'm afraid, you know, the Portofino stands out. It's aluminum. It's a go-anywhere boat. After that, I would probably say it would be the Tanna, foam core, and polyester. Then, you know, basically that's the same as everybody else. The Neil has vinyl ester layer, and the Bally polyester vinyl ester layer. Looking to the performance indicators, if we go to sail area over displacement or an indicator of power, the Neil is in the lead at 25.23. You then would have the Portofino at 22.89. Then the Fountaine Pajot at 21.9 and the Bali at 21.22. The displacement to hull length, or an indicator of heaviness, this is lowest number winds. You've got the Navel well ahead at 105.09, followed by the Bali at 149. Next, we're looking at comfort ratio. It looks like the Tanna at 17 is in the lead here, followed by the Portofino, followed by the Bali at 13.94, and then the Portofino. As we head down to hull speed, they're all about the same because they're all about the same length. Then the KSP indicator, which calculates speed, a theoretical speed at 10 knots of wind. We're looking at the Navel in the lead at 7.9, followed closely by the Tanna at 7.2, the Portofino at 7.1, and the Bali at 6.9. So sort of the leader here is the Navel at 79% of wind speed, followed by the Fountaine Pajot at 72%. Okay, hopping on board. What would Sylvia say? Well, I think Sylvia would really like this boat. So here we are looking around from that lovely swim platform all the way into the cockpit, nice windows into the aft berths there, the built-in barbecue right at the edge there. Lots of speakers and lights. They've got the flexi teak here. So really, really nicely done. You've got flush hatches, giving you nice light and ventilation without anything dangerous. The one thing I'm not a fan of on Fountaine Pajot is the unfinished underside of the cockpit top. Heading to the helm area, I really am a fan of this. You've got all of your lines running aft to a separate winch station just ahead of the helm station, within easy reach for single handing, but with enough space for dual handling. You've got that nice integrated solar, great handholds for safety all the way down the cabin top. Heading forward here, you've got the faux front cockpit with the ratcheting backs on those relaxation mats. You've got nice princess seats up here for watching the dolphins. It's a nice space. It doesn't create that sense of an actual settee that you have on the 45 and that you definitely have on the 51, but it's quite nice. So let's hop into the actual helm area here. Tremendous line baskets. But before we go there, we're going to do a little navel gazing. This one is brought to us by my friend Stainless Steel Wombat and his idea on the Chateau toroidal propeller, which has been gaining popularity in the boating community due to its promised efficiency and improved performance. This propeller design is unique compared to the traditional straight-bladed propellers. It is shaped like a donut or a toroidal ring. This shape creates a vortex ring that increases the propulsion efficiency and reduces fuel consumption. According to Chateau Engineering, the inventors of this propeller design, the Chateau toroidal propeller can provide up to 9% fuel savings and a 12% increase in speed compared to straight-bladed propellers. These statistics were backed up by the water tank test conducted by the University of Michigan in 2015, where a Chateau propeller showed 9.5% more propulsion efficiency than a traditional propeller. In addition, the Chateau toroidal propeller has been tested in real-world situations, and results have been positive. In a field test conducted by the National Research Council of Canada in 2019, a Chateau propeller was tested on a commercial fishing vessel. The test showed a 26.3% reduction in fuel consumption and a 24.2% increase in speed compared to the vessel's original propeller. Okay, back on board, and we're at the helm station looking at those tremendous line bags there. This wonderful separated winch station just ahead of the helm. Great visibility to both aft hulls as well as the bows of both hulls. Beautiful elevated fly lounge, really comfortable double or triple seat at the helm with that very nice safe sense of safety that the sidebar towards the water gives you, so that not only is it a lovely armrest, but it makes you feel comfortable. I really like the hardtop on this. Nice glass, nice embedded lighting. It felt extremely comfortable and robust. And then you're still beautifully connected with everybody downstairs, up on the lounge, down in the cockpit, and even into the salon. So again, you can see me looking around the various points of view to the hulls. You've got great visibility here. As you step up, the one thing I really liked about this one was not only this fly lounge, which gives you fantastic space, the integrated solar, which looks so elegant and nice, but as well the fact that I could reach the top of the sail bag very, very easily. So I can walk the full length of that. I can zip it up. There's no worries, no problem. So you can see there's no lack of social space up here. It's extremely comfortable, extremely elegant, and you're right in connection with whoever's sitting at the helm at any one point in time. So here we are. We'll make our way past these folks down the stairs into the actual cockpit area itself. And here, again, you can see a lovely expansive space, lots of lounging settees, a built-in fridge and freezer there, and then these wide open doors that lead you straight into the saloon. One of these gentlemen here had actually just bought one of these, so he was quite proudly sitting there. So you can see, I really do like the way they've shaped that lounge there. They do have a return on it, but it's got a bit of a stylish jaunt to it, so it doesn't feel as rigid as, say, a leopard one does. The other thing is it's got drop-down armrests. I'm not sure if you noted that, but the drop-down armrests really give it more versatility. And of course, as Fountaine Pajot is apt to do, they put a nice coffee table instead of making you sit at the dining room table all the time. The other thing that we saw there was the double sinks, beautiful big double sinks, lots of counter space for those who want the counter space. Look at the counter space here. Now we're going to head down into the owner's hull, give you a sense of this right here. Look, you've got a beautiful little makeup table or desk, the TV that comes out and slides around so you can see it from the berth. The berth here, again, very nicely executed, lots of room up the side. Either occupant can get out without disturbing the other one. Nice open sense and feel. You've got lots of light coming in, lots of mirrors. You've got indirect lighting. And let's head into the pièce de résistance here, the bathroom here. Look at the size of that sink. And then you don't feel cramped here at all, but you have the mother of all shower stalls here. This thing extends, gotta be 5 feet, if not more. Nicely integrated towel rack on it, and you swing around inside and you can have showers for days in here. Nice ventilation up above, nice ventilation in the side window, lots of light, lots of comfort, lots of space. Now, we're going to head up again into the saloon and across, but, you know, look at the beautiful drop-down armrests on the settees, the nice inlaid leather detail. Fountaine Pajot does a nice job. I wish they would round the corners. They're not rounding their corners. They're going with sharp corners, and that's really a shame. They should go with rounded corners. Not only is it safer, but it really creates a sense of elegance. You've got standard curtains, which I'm not a huge fan of. I would far rather have integrated blinds. However, the way they've integrated these curtains, I mean, it's not bad at all. I really shouldn't be complaining. Lots of storage space, lots of cupboards, hanging cupboards, shelf cupboards. This is a boat that you could easily do, you know, a circumnav and spend 5 years on. It's really, really nicely done. I do like the extra hanging space. I'm not sure why. I guess lots of folks like to actually stack their clothes. I don't. I prefer to hang stuff. Here is your separate head for the aft guest. You have a separate, it's a dry head. You have a separate shower area. Now you could either, it doesn't have a door there. You could do a curtain or you could put in a door, I suppose. But overall, it's a dry head and very, very nicely executed. So let us head forward here and go to the VIP berth up here. It's an athwartship berth. We're going to first look at, again, you've got huge storage here. Now, if you have a washer dryer on board, this is where your washer dryer is going. If not, it's a fantastic pantry. So let's head on back here. You get a sense of space and light here. Again, you've got those lovely overhead hatches, beautiful side windows with embedded ventilation. You've got a nice headboard. They put some effort into the headboard there. Good access up the side. That's easy enough to make that bed. And what I really like is this the forepeak area. So you got fantastic storage. If you want, you've got another little berth there for kids. Or if you're in my case, you're going to be putting lots of clothes and storage in here, and you've got full access to the outside. In this case, they've got this set up as a crew cabin, of course. But absolutely nothing to complain about here. The fit and finish is nice. The materials, it's an Alpi wood. I would prefer, again, if it was rounded corners. The stainless work is very nice. They have gloss plastic as offsetting some of the satin finishes, which are executed very, very nicely. The it is a dry head, but without a door on the shower, but executed very nicely, especially given the space. And the offset color dark floor really looks good. So, again, other than I would like to see rounded corners, they have really done a very, very nice job on refreshing this 47, and it's a very, very comfortable boat. Okay, let's hop into the actual pre-owned comparables. So first up, we're going to be looking at a 2018 Outremer 45. So this is 48 feet long. Bear in mind, we're doing a comparison to our sail-away price on our Fountaine Pajot Tanna 47, which is, in my case, I generally calculate it as base plus 50%. So that gives us a sail-away of 1.67 million USD. Looking at a 4-year-old Outremer 45, they're asking 776,000 USD. The Tanna 47 gives so much more living space. For my application, I would still have to go with the Tanna 47. If I was in the least performance-oriented, I'd probably slip to the Outremer 45. Looking now at the 2019 Fountaine Pajot Tanna 47, the predecessor to the Tanna 47, they're looking at a price of 1.29 for a 3-year-old boat versus 1.267 for the new one. Obviously, I would do the new Tanna 47. I like the layout of the saloon far better. Next up, we're looking at a Bally 4.8. It's a 48-foot boat. They're asking 1.1 million USD for a 1-year-old boat versus 1.267. The Bally 48 is a very nice boat. The Tanna will outperform it. I would be, for my applications, I'd be a little more traditional, go with the Tanna. Finally, we're looking at the Neil 47, a 2-year-old boat. They're asking 771 versus our 1.267. Again, the Neil really comes into its own at the 51 and 52. I wouldn't be doing the 47, so I'd lean to the Fountaine Pajot on this one. Okay, we're into monohull heresy, and as you recall, I always add 20% to the length of a catamaran to come up with a reasonably comparable living space on a monohull. So here we're looking at, somewhere around a 60, 55-foot boat, something of that nature to compare to the 47-foot Tanna. Our first one up is a Dufour 56. It's a 1-year-old boat, and they are asking $805 USD against a 1.267 for the Tanna. Now, very comparable living space. This is a lovely boat. If I could get Sylvia to deal with the healing, I would probably go with the Dufour. I'm getting some more owner toys on board there, and I'm saving myself, what? Wow, $500,000. Next, we're looking at the Hansa 588, one of my favorites, especially with the hard top, and it's got the full tender garage on it. There's a lot of features to this boat that I really, really like. They're asking 1.1 versus our 1.2. I really like the Hansa 588, but I'd probably in this case go with the new Tanna. Next up, we are going to something a little different, sort of a catamaran-style monohull in a 2019 Moody 54 DS. If you haven't seen these, have a look at these. They're very, very unique. Walk through right from the cockpit into the saloon, just like you do on a catamaran, and then you've got downstairs for your berths. So they're asking 1.1 versus our 1.25, sort of. I would still go with the Tanna on this. So I think the Tanna, other than the Dufour, probably made a clean sweep there. Now, what do we have with the Dave score? On the Dave score, the FP didn't do too bad. At 47 feet, she's in amongst the Dufour 48, the Katana OC 50, the Aventura 37, the Leopard 45, and the preliminary Seawind 1370. Interior elegance, I'm going to put her at about a 7. Exterior, I'm going to give it a 7 here. I really like the spaces outside, and it does give it an elegant feel. Comfort, you've definitely got an 8 on the interior. On the exterior, you got a 7. Quality, I give it a 7. Performance, a 6, although I'd nudge it over the lagoons and such. Lazy Sailor, a 7. It really brings all those lines back to that nice helm station. And for Condo, I'm going to give it an 8. It's just nudging right up there with the Condo. You're getting to the right size here at the 47. Geek, I'm going to give it a 7. I do love that swim platform on the back. Value for money, I'm going to give it a 7. I think she did okay. Overall, you've got 71 out of 100 and a really solid score for the nature of this production boat. For our art of the region today, we're enjoying Eugene Bodin's painting Bateau de Pajot Tanna from 1886. Eugene Bodin was a French painter remembered for his beach scenes and landscapes. Born in Honfleur, France in 1824, he spent most of his life in and around the coastal areas of his hometown. His paintings typically depicted the idyllic scenes of the beaches and the lives of fishermen in the area. Bodin's work marked the beginning of the Impressionist movement, and he is considered a precursor to this school of art. He received recognition and accolades in his lifetime, including several medals from the Salon, and his paintings are exhibited in prominent galleries and museums around the world. Eugene's painting, Bateau de Pajot Tanna, 1886, captures the essence of one of the most picturesque fishing ports in Brittany. The painting depicts a bustling harbor filled with fishing boats and small vessels which appear to be returning from a long day at sea, bringing in their catch. According to recent auction records, this piece has been sold for over $1 million US. The painting is characterized by Bodin's typical impressionistic style, which is evident in the light and brushstrokes he uses. The azure waters that surround the boats are painted in different shades, creating an interplay of light, color, and texture. The sky overhead is a bright blue with white wispy clouds that add to the overall effect of lightness. The focal point of the painting is the boats, which are placed in the foreground, or rather in the center stage of the painting, inviting the viewer to step forward almost as if they were part of the scene. Bodin has depicted the boats in great detail, from the ladders used to climb them to the ropes tying them to the dock. The painting's composition is well balanced, with the boats in the foreground and the houses and the church's distinctive spire in the background. Overall, Bodin's Bateau de Pajot Tanna is a delightful painting that captures the beauty of the port and the fishing boats that were its lifeblood. Through his delicate use of color and light, Bodin has created a piece of art that exudes a sense of peace and tranquility, inviting the viewer to imagine the smells and sounds of a bustling harbor. Well, that's our wine, our boat, and our lovely piece of art this week. I do hope you've enjoyed the whole thing. Make sure to leave me a comment. I love the interaction with the audience and the ideas and the information that I gather from each of you. We'll see you back here next week. Cheers.